Hi, I'm David Saylor with Mimaki. Thanks so much for joining me. On behalf of Mimaki USA, I just wanted to say thank you for your purchase of a CJV or JV inkjet printer. You made a great choice. This video is here to help you get a quick head start before your printer or installer arrives. If you follow along and complete these steps, you'll be way ahead of the game and probably save yourself a full day of setup and training. We're going to cover how to connect your printer, how to install the software and profiles, and a quick overview of RasterLink and ID Cut basics. The good news? All the software is available online, and you won't even need your serial number for the first 90 days. To make things even easier, grab the Installation Preparation Guide Links PDF. It has every link you'll need to get set up quickly and smoothly. If you haven't received it yet, just check the link in this video's description. Go ahead, pause right here, and download that PDF before moving on. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and download RasterLink7. Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to grab that PDF, the Installation Preparation Guide PDF, and click on the link for RasterLink7. And this opens up in the Mimaki Global website. We're going to scroll to the latest version of RasterLink. And it will say RasterLink7, a version, and the entire installer. So we're going to select that one and scroll to the bottom here and select download. I have a warning message that comes up in my computer. I just select continue and you can see that that's downloading now. Now we're going to back up once and we're going to look for cutting link. We want to download that right now that we're on this page. So see how I scrolled down and I selected cutting link. And I'm going to select download. So that's downloading RasterLink and cutting link. And while you're here, you should click on your printer, either the CJV200 or the JV200. Now that I'm at the JV200, you're going to want to save that, bookmark that, because everything that has to do with your printer, profiles, download, software is on the global site. That's the most updated information, Mimaki.com. Once RasterLink and cutting link are completely downloaded, you're going to scroll to the File Explorer and select Downloads or the download folder that this was sent to. You're going to want to double click on the RasterLink software. And click Yes. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Select Yes. And select Install. Now, you want to be logged in as an administrator, and in some instances, some companies have it locked down pretty tight. So you're going to want to be given all permissions on this computer because RasterLink is a network program. And it needs access. It's a network program and you can network printer, and it needs certain accesses to your larger company's network. So sometimes we run into problems where you have to be granted larger or more permissions. Now you can see here I already have RasterLink installed, so I'm going to say OK and cancel it. You're going to install the entire RasterLink software program. The second thing you're going to do is a picked information window will come up. We don't need that right now. We can install that at a later date. Let's just worry about RasterLink and cutting link. So the next thing you're going to do is go back to the File Explorer and double click on cutting link, and you're going to want to install that as well. Okay, now that you have RasterLink and cutting link installed, let's jump back to that PDF and get the profiles. If you've purchased the CJV200, click on this link, CJV200. If you've purchased the JV200, you can click on this link. Don't sweat what type of ink set you have or what type of ink. I included all profiles to get you going on here. So we click on that link and it'll bring up my Google Drive. And you're going to want to download every one of these files. So you're going to want to select all of them and then select download. So all of those files will be zipped and downloaded. Remember, whichever printer you have, the CJV200 or the JV200. Okay, once they're zipped and downloaded, you're going to want to go to your downloads folder and right click on it, extract all, and we're just going to leave them in this downloads folder that you have. And select extract. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is go to your start and look at all apps. Now you've already installed RasterLink, and part of RasterLink is a profile manager. And once you have your license, once you enter your license key, there's an easier way to upload profiles. But for now, we're going to have to do it this manual method. Now you've already downloaded the profiles, so we're going to select this, install from folder. So this will allow you to install profiles from a folder. We're going to select the downloads, and we're going to select that folder that you unzipped. Select unzip. And it read all the profiles. Just click on this button on the top to make sure all are selected. And then select OK down here. It says overwrite the following installed profiles. Yes, I have them installed. Don't worry about it. OK. Then once you're finished, you're going to close this box and you're going to open RasterLink. So we're going to go to the Start button, select all apps, and then we're going to find Mimaki RasterLink. Mimaki RasterLink. And you can, if you like, right-click on this and you can pin it to your taskbar so it shows up down here. But for right now, let's open RasterLink for the first time. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? That will happen every time you go ahead and open RasterLink. So let's select yes. Okay, here's RasterLink open, and you can tell I have 3 printers installed already. With RasterLink, you can run 4 printers off of one RasterLink copy or one computer. Let's go ahead and we're going to add your CJV or JV printer to file so you can fool around with it and see how the software works. So to add a printer, we're going to select Environments and Printer Management. And then we're going to select Add. And in this case, let's choose a CJV200. Let's choose a SS21 ink. And let's choose the 8 color. And you see it says Output Port to File and Available Printers here. So you can add an available printer to file so we can play with it. And I'm just going to name it CJV100 to File. And select OK. Is the printer model CJV100 to File correct? No, I want to name it CJV200 to File. OK? Yes. Do you want to create a hot folder and printer? Yes. So this is adding a CJV200. If you have a JV200, you can add that as well. We're just going to go through and we're going to play with it a little bit so you can become familiar with RasterLink. Okay, and you can see it added that printer. So let's select Close. So down here on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see it shows the printers that we have installed in RasterLink. You can do up to 4 on any one computer. So we're going to select our CJV200 to file. Now here's the key crucial thing in RasterLink. You can see all these windows, and it seems a little bit confusing now if you've not used RasterLink before. But the key spot is you can move these windows to resize them. See how I'm clicking on the line and it becomes the arrow? So you can resize any one of these windows. It makes your life a lot easier. We're going to go through and we're going to change some of the defaults in RasterLink to make your life easier right out of the gate. So the first thing that we're going to change is we're going to go to Tools and Color Collection. And all of these we are going to check. So what that basically does is, you see here it says Pantone Solid Color V4, V5, Uncoded V4, V5. This has a lookup table. You're going to use the lookup table if Pantone Solid Color V4 color is identified in your graphic. RasterLink has a lookup table for LAB values to match that color. By default in RasterLink, these are all unchecked. So you want to check all these and select Close. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fool with the environment. So we're going to say Environment and Option. And for job control, I'm going to select Level 2. And I'm going to select Calculate Ink Consumption. This way you can do, you'll know how much ink each job has used. Auto execution. This is, you can have the printer automatically execute or start printing a job. Display. I'm going to raise the preview resolution from the default to higher. This will give you a better resolution when you're previewing your graphics. Disk. You probably have a pretty big disk, so one disk isn't, 1 gigabyte isn't enough. So we're going to raise that to 8, 9, 10 gigabytes of disk space to keep. Device, this is for your color spectrophotometer. We're not going to touch that. Communication, this is for ID cut settings. We want to set that up now. So we're going to select Setup and then select Update. If you have a cutter attached to this device, we are going to select that computer name that comes on and select OK. Cutting link is a network function or a networked tool. So we want to tell RasterLink what computer cutting link is installed on. If it's installed on this computer, we're going to select this computer's name here. If it's select on a different computer, we're going to select a different computer's name. We'll get into everything that cutting link can do with the ID cut later on, but for now, that's your default settings. Now, there are 3 different ways to get files into RasterLink. Let's take a look at the 3 types. The number 1 type is select File and Open, and then browse your computer for a file to print. I'm just going to select this one, number 1 sticker, CJV, and select OK. We will set your favorites up later, but once your favorites are set up, you're going to choose a favorite here and select OK. Right now, it's going through the pre-ripping process. It's going through the pre-ripping process. Right now, it went through the pre-ripping process, and now it comes up here. And you know I'm kind of faking it, okay? I do not have a CJV connected. You know why? We're on Properties, up here, and then over here on the left side of your screen, it says Status and Nothing. Well, first of all, we have a printer to file, so nothing's going to show up. When your printer is connected, it's going to show you the status of the printer and how much ink is in there. This manual input, that's just by default is the width of the printer. Once you detect media, right here under media size and scan, This will display the width of the material that is loaded in the printer. How great is that? Down here in the job queue, it actually tells you what is going on with RasterLink. All we're doing is giving a really brief review of the screen right now. Now this right here, it says it's a layered job. This I know is a print and cut job. So this is the print part and this is the cut part. And it is layered together. Now with properties selected, it gives you the basic settings for your file, for this file that is selected. The media, the quality, the profile, all of those things are here. The next icon down is arrangement. This is if you want to nest multiple files together. So if you want to print 30 files at once, you want them to nest together, this is the button. Let's talk about this quality button right here. So we set that quality button. So I personally like PVC gloss, Mimaki GPVC or PVC gloss profile. Do not get into a twist of having the exact profile for the exact media. Echo Solvent ink has a wide processing window. What's going to make a larger effect is the heat settings on the printer and these color matching settings, which we'll go over in a minute. So I'm going to set it to just for right now the lowest resolution, 900 by 600 generic PVC gloss. Why don't you do that right now? The next thing we're going to change is the color matching setting. We're going to change that to Mimaki Expand Color. So this will be your fastest print setting or your lowest resolution. Let's jump in and save this as a favorite so you never have to select this again. We're going to select this star button, which is favorite. And whenever you see this plus sign in Mimaki, that means you're going to give it a name. So we're going to give it generic. And we're going to give it 6x9. And I'm just going to tell which printer it is because I have multiple printers installed. So I'm going to say it's the CJV200. It's a generic 6x9 profile. And we're going to select plus. That will save that name to the favorite. It hasn't saved any of the settings. The only thing it's done is save the name. Here's the key part with Mimaki RasterLink saving favorites. If you want to save the quality settings, we click on this Q from this dialog box. And then we're going to click on the update favorite settings. Now you see on the right hand side, it says this job is set up to generic PVC gloss 6x9. But my favorite setting is 12x12. If we select this button, update favorite, it's going to shift all these settings into our favorite setting, which is saved. Now, if you want general print settings saved, you can do the same thing after you change those settings. Okay, so once we've saved that, we're going to close it. That's how you save a favorite. I have 5, 10, 15 different favorites saved for each printer. This greatly speeds up your workflow. Let's go down the list here. So we have properties, arrangement, quality. This is cropping. We can't crop it because this is a print and cut image. The next thing we have is our general print settings. And you would get that dastardly warning line up there. This red warning line doesn't mean anything. So this view right here, the right side is the right side of the printer as the media is loaded. The left side is the left side of the printer, and the bottom is the leading edge. So this preview is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So if you want to do multiple copies, we can just change the copies to, let's say, 8. And then you can select Arrange in the Center. So this first position here, obviously here you can rotate at 90, rotate at 180, turn the rotation off. So this first position here is what will affect this position down here. Okay, so if we set that to 3, it's going to print 3 inches up, wasting material. Or if you want to leave a little leading edge, that'll do it. These layout, so scan is printer width, and feed is the length of your material. So I could set these to be 0.25 inches apart and 0.25 inches if I have, let's say, 16 copies done. Okay? Now, if this is what you want, we can select Go, Rip and Print, and Start, and that will send that job to the printer. Now, if you're in RasterLink and you ever have a job that doesn't print or doesn't go or doesn't do something that you want it to do, or you get some type of error message, here's a huge tip. Down here in the bottom, down here, okay, in the bottom left, you select on that down arrow or where all these icons are and select RL7. Double click on that and this will bring up this log display. And you can make this bigger or smaller. So you can see it logs every function or every click that we make. So down here it said a favorite setting was updated. The media width is set to 63.78 inches. So if something is in blue, that means it's a pause. If something is in red, that's a hard stop. If something is in black, that's a go. That means that the function occurred. So this log display in RasterLink7 is hugely helpful. And if you close it, see, because it's always on top. It's always going to be on top. If you close it, it disappears. If you want to get it again, just double click down here and it'll come up. Cool beans? Okay. The next way to get an image file into RasterLink is just to drag and drop. So you can browse your computer and you can drag and drop the file into this window. Now you see we got this dialog box up and we already created this favorite CJV200 generic profile 6x9. So let's just select that one and select OK. And this down here, it'll show you the status, what's happening. It's executing a pre-rip and then it will come into your jobs window. So this in the center, this is your jobs window or your jobs list. There's my high-res CJV test file. Now let's go through. So we're not going to arrange it or nest it. Let's change the quality. So we're going to change it from generic PVC gloss 6x9 to generic PVC gloss 6x12. We're going to go through one more time how to create a favorite. So we're going to select our favorite button. We're going to say CJV200 generic 6x12 because that's the we're going to save it, and then select the plus key to save that name. All we did there was save the name, and remember what we have to do next? We have to click on that quality tab and we have to bring the quality from here to our favorite. So we're going to click on that button. And I'm going to introduce one other new thing here. You ready? One other new thing. We're going to create a hot folder. And what a hot folder does is it will create a Windows printer. So you can print right from Adobe Illustrator, CorelDRAW, Flexi, whatever graphic design program you're working in. You can select File, Print, choose the Mimaki printer, and print to it. So all you have to do is select this one button, Hot Folder Creation, and then select Create. And you'll see this little progress bar go. There we go. We got the Windows creation. It tells us the folder path, the shared folder name, the printer name, the shared printer name, and then the port, and then select close. So what this has done is it has created a Windows printer. And we also saved the favorite, so select close. Let's go through general print directions again. So see, this will print this way. If we want to change it to 90, we can go that way. You want to move it in the middle. You want to resize it proportionally. Any of these functions we can do right inside RasterLink Print Preview. If you want to add a label, you can do it here. Once this is what you want, what you see is what you get, go to the execution button. It says go, that's why I say go. And then do rip and print and start. And that will send the job to the printer. In our case, it sent the job to a file. Let's go through and let's talk about print and cut. So in print and cut, we're going to go back and select this sticker job, sticker CJV200, and go to general print. And then at general print, we're going to select the cut edit tab. So in your graphic software, you have to create a spot color called cut contour or cut contour 1 or cut contour, whatever it is, but it has to be spelled this way. And what RasterLink does is RasterLink will see that spot color as you want to cut it. So it will not print it. It's going to send it as a cut job. On our printer, we're going to set up our printer with different cut settings. So cut contour, let's say, will be kiss cut, and on our printer, we're going to set that, or cutter, we're going to set that up to cut 1, and you have to select apply a couple of times. Cut contour 1, let's say we want to do a perf cut. So the perf cut we're going to save on our device as cut 2. Either our printer cutter or our standalone cutter, we're going to save that as cut 2 and select apply. So now the software knows it's going to send cut 1 to the setting on your printer cutter and cut 2 to the setting on your printer cutter. Then we're going to go down to image edit and we're going to select mark shape. Okay, we want to select that first one, or type 2, and then we're going to select whole. We don't want each individual image here. We don't want all 16 to have crop marks. Let's just treat this as one unit with the crop marks. And then as a tip, I always do an intermediate registration mark, and I usually do it the long way or this way. And then you're going to set your distance between after you have set this. Your distance between copies to 0.15 and 0.15. Now you're off to the races. So this, on a CJV200, this will print and then retract and do a cut. Now we're going to get into cutting link and how to set up cutting link next. But what cutting link does is this. You can use ID cut. You just select that ID cut button and you see what happened. It put a barcode here and at the upper left hand corner. What that lets you do is this. This is a fantastic feature. It will let you print this image on your CJV200, CJV100, unload it, go ahead and laminate it, and then when you load it back in the printer cutter during the mark detect process will read this barcode and automatically begin cutting. This cutting link software will send the job to the cutter without any user intervention. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a huge time saver. So you can actually print a whole roll of material, go to your laminator, laminate that whole roll of material, come back and load it in either your printer cutter or your standalone cutter, the CG130AR, and it will cut the mark detect. Again, once you select ID cut, here's a tip. You're going to have to re-enter your gap between your images. Once that's where you want it, you can select go. And then see, cut is grayed out. You cannot print and cut it because it has ID cut. And when you select start, that would send the job to the printer, and it's going to send the cut job to Cutting Link. Okay, let's go through and let's show you how to set up Cutting Link. If we click on the apps over here and then all, and Cutting Link is under C, Cutting Link. Now the first time it opens, it's going to ask you if you want to use this as a client or a server. So we're going to say we want to use this as a server because the cutters are hooked up to this computer. If you have the cutters and Cutting Link and your RasterLink hook up to another computer, or you have a Mimaki printer cutter on another computer, you're going to select client here. So we're going to select server. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the cutters that are hooked up to this computer. So we go to Tool and Cutting Device Manager. And as you can see, I already have my JV200 hooked up. I already have it defined. So the next thing let's do is let's define our CJV200. And it says here, available devices. So we select the CJV200, and it doesn't stop there. Now you have to give it a name. So I'm just going to name it CJV200 S&G. That's for Sign and Graphics Solution Center. And let's select Add. Save the setting. Is it okay? Okay. Then we're going to close this. Now this you're always going to leave running. You always want it running in your system tray down here, Cutting Link. And if you go to View and Update Current Status, this tells us the jobs that are not sent and the jobs that are sent. Now the jobs will remain here until you delete them. And that's it. That's how you set up the Cutting Link server. Let's jump back into RasterLink, and I'm at the Sign and Graphics Solution Center, so you can see here I have my CJV200 and it's hooked up. It's remote, which means it's ready to print. And my auto detection width of my material is 59.69 inches. So let's go through and let's just review how to send a job to print and cut using ID cut. So we're going to select File and Open to open a job. You can drag and drop it in, no problem. We're going to select one sticker, CJV200, and select OK. Now I'm going to select my favorite 1200 DPI by 1200 DPI 16 pass and select OK. Down here in the bottom, you can see that it's executing a pre-rip. And remember, what makes real easy in RasterLink is you can resize these windows. Okay, it'll let you view more in the size. And then I just click on the date once and twice, and that will bring the latest thing that I opened to the top. And I'm going to select sticker. I'm not going to arrange it. I'm not going to print this with something else. And quality is all set. It's set to 12 by 12. We're just going down these buttons on the left-hand side, right? Then we're going to go to General Print Settings. So our General Print Settings, I'm always going to go to Cut Edit first. Now in our cutter, we will set up Cut 1, the pressure and the speed. Cut 2, the pressure and the speed. Cut 3, the pressure and the speed, based on the vinyl that we have loaded and the cut criteria that we want to maintain. So I'm going to say cut contour is going to be a kiss cut. So user definition, let's move that over a little so we can see that apply. I'm going to set it to cut 1 and select apply. Let's pretend the perf cut, that's our perf cut, our outer layer, our half cut, or our perf cut. Let's pretend we don't want to do that. You can just uncheck that and select apply, and it won't use this cut line. That's all. So you can select it and select apply, and it will use this cut line. And then we're going to select panel setting. We're going to select user definition, means I am going to define what cut setting in my CJV200 is going to cut. Then we're going to go to cut to and apply. Now, if you purchased the JV100, I hope you got a CGAR130 with that, because all these settings and everything that we're showing here today, that we're going over today, will transfer to the CGAR with the JV100. Then I select apply. So cut 1 is going to be my kiss cut. Cut 2 is going to be my perf cut. Let's go back to image edit. And let's say we want 20 copies. I'm a little aggressive there. How about 10 copies? Then we're going to go down and we're going to select our mark shape, our register mark, and we're going to select ID cut. And we're going to do whole, because right now each individual one of these is going to have mark detect and a barcode. We don't want that. So we're going to select whole, and that will provide just the cut on, just the ID cut on the whole image, or treating all copies as one. And then we're going to select intermediate register marks, and I always put them on the side. That's just how I do it. And you want to make sure that your barcode is on the leading edge or on the top left-hand side. Now this front down here, this is what's going to come through the printer. This is the right-hand side of the printer. This is the left-hand side of the printer. So I'm just going to arrange it in the center to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 copies. And I'm going to set a distance of 0.15 between each copy. And this is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. If this is what you want, go to print. So we're going to select the execution button right here. And print and cut, you see, is grayed out because you're going to cut separately. And when I select start, that sends the job to the printer, and it sends the cut job to cutting link. And if we go view and update current status, you see that job 7 just popped in here, and it's sending the job here, right here to cutting link. And there's no user intervention required. You just have to select, you just have to load it back in the printer and do mark detect, and it will detect that cut line. Now my cut job went, and now the print job is going to the printer. Now you notice in RasterLink, these, once you hit print, all of these are grayed out, so you cannot edit it while this job is printing. Another tip with a CJV200 or any Mimaki printer is, if you see that the job is not going the way you want it to go, never stop the job from here in the rip. You're going to walk over to the printer and you're going to take the printer out of remote, meaning you're going to push the button that says remote or the F3 button to bring it local. That's going to stop the printer immediately, so maybe nothing bad happens. Maybe you got something jammed in there for some reason, or the print isn't coming out as expected. So you're going to kill the job on the printer itself. If you try to stop the job here in RasterLink, it is just going to take too long. So that's it, the basics of RasterLink, the basics of printing and cutting. Go through and watch the next video. It's printing and loading perfection on the CJV200 JV100. I also have a couple of videos on how to create your cut lines in Adobe Illustrator and CorelDRAW. Thanks a lot for watching, and good luck with that CJV200, JV200. They are awesome printers.